Hello, and welcome to the kitchen at Rita's Roost. What are we going to make today? Well, I made them the other day, but I'm going to make them again because time I gave them to 3 grandsons, 1 granddaughter, son and daughter-in-law, and daughter and son-in-law, and me and Terry. I don't think everybody got filled up on cinnamon rolls. So here we go again. And I use my bread machine on my cinnamon rolls. And I use a recipe that I've used for several years now. That it's a clone of a cCinnabon, and it works good for me. I got the recipe off of All Recipes website. You can find lots of good recipes there. So we'll start with our little thing that goes in our bread machine. And let me get. I have 1/3 of a cup of melted butter and 1 cup of milk. And that's warm, but it's not hot because I don't want it to melt to cook the eggs or to kill the yeast. So I'm going to put in 2 eggs. Get my bowl here. Got 2 room temperature eggs. And I'm just going to put them in there. And now, let's see, now I'm going to put 4½ cups of flour. Now you could use bread flour if you wanted to, and it'd probably even be better. But you know, I found that just plain old flour works. I'm just going to guess at it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes I even go just a little bit less. 4½ is what we want. If I put a little bit less flour, when I roll them out, I can kind of add more flour to keep it from being sticky. And I thought I had my ingredients, but I didn't. I'm going to get a ½ cup sugar. I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. I'm going to put a ½ cup sugar because this is sweet rolls. And I need salt. Where did I put my salt? Let me look. Rita? You know, my husband tells me I'd lose my butt if it wasn't attached. Sorry about that. Excuse my language. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt. Going to mix that up a little bit. And this is bread machine yeast. This is fast rising. This is kind of yeast that you mix with your flour instead of with your liquids. And we'll put 2½ teaspoons. And I'm just going to mix that with that flour just a little bit. Now I've got to put it in the bread machine, which you probably can't, I don't know if you can't see the bread machine, but it's over here on the counter. I'm going to put it in there. I'm right here. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to set it for dough. And my dough will take 1.5 hours, and then we'll take it out and make cinnamon rolls. So let me fix the menu. Gotta turn it on, I guess. My dough number. And then it starts doing the mixing up, and it'll get warm and it'll rise. We'll mix it and let it rest and rise, and then we'll come back and we'll dump it out here and roll it out and make cinnamon rolls. So I'll be back. Well, our bread machine has went off, so I'm going to take that dough out. Here it is. Now we're going to make cinnamon rolls. That was just the dough part. So we're going to put some flour down here. Oops, a little piece of okra, I think. I'm going to put some flour down there. And I'm going to dump it out right now. All of it didn't come out there. This will be the fun part. It'll take a few minutes, but this is kind of, other than eating them, this part's kind of fun. Alright, I'm going to have to wash that this time. But they're out there. Now, I've got to put flour down on the board, so I'm just going to get some flour on it so it won't be all sticky on my fingers. That's kind of... Now we're going to make cinnamon rolls. I've got plenty of flour on the board, and since I didn't add too much to my dough, I don't think I'm going to work too much into it. I'm going to make sure when I start rolling that I got plenty underneath. And here goes. We're going to go this way and that way till I get a big, pretty good sized piece of dough. And this is the fun part. Go that way, and go stretch it that way and that way. Go this way a little bit and bring it this way a little bit. This is the way I do them. That edge is a little thick, so I'll work on it a little bit. Move some of my stuff back out of the way. Takes a little elbow room. Can you see it? It's this big, and that's probably about right. That didn't take too long. And I've got a silicone mat. I use this silicone mat for everything. So if you like to do pies and stuff and you don't have one, I believe I'd get one, because it's sticking just a little bit. So I just working that flour in it. Don't want it to stick, so I'm just going to fix that. Now I've got to roll it back out though. Go that way. And that's somewhat of a rectangle. Now what we're going to put is this butter. And I've got a third of a cup of butter here. And it was hard, so I put it in the microwave for a little bit. So it's pretty soft right now. So there's my butter. And I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to spread it all around. I've got a pastry brush. I'm beginning to think I need a new pastry brush. Sometimes I find little bristles that come out of this one. Don't hurt anything, but they do come out. Need one of them new silicone ones. Got that all spread. A little wad there that wasn't as melted. Now, there's our butter on there. All the way to the edge. Get that a little thick right there. Now, in this bowl, I have a cup of brown sugar, and 2½ tablespoons of cinnamon. And I'm just going to mix it up there with my hand. Brown sugar and cinnamon. That'd be so good. All right, now I'm just going to put that out there on it. All the way to the, put it all. Cover every little bit of it. No places where there's not any. All on there. The dough, the butter, the brown sugar, and cinnamon. Now, I'm going to start rolling it up from this long side. Kind of get it loose so it's not stuck. Just a minute. Rolly, rolly. A little bit of flour there. I'm just going to brush it off so I don't have too much flour. Now, I'm going to pull it back over here closer to me so I can work on it. Pull that side up over it. Now, I've just got a big long roll now. And usually I can't get those to pinch together, the edges pinch together, so I just don't worry about it too much. Let me move this out of the way. Now I went ahead and I've got me a pan ready here, and you could, and I put a piece of parchment paper. I've greased it bottom and on the paper too, because that sugar in there can, well, it can get kind of sticky and messy, so I put parchment paper. But you don't have to, but after you bake it, when you take it out of the oven, you need to flip it so that all that sugar don't just settle in the bottom and stick and not come out. Okay, I'm going to start right here in the middle. I'm going to cut them about an inch. I'm going to cut them right there. And this pan will probably hold about a dozen, and then I'll have to get another pan, I think, ready for the remainder. And I'm putting them just a little bit apart, because when they rise, they'll rise up and touch. I'm going to turn that. After I get this part, I'll have to leave them for a while, 30, 45 minutes, and let them rise. Just they'll rise depending on how warm it is in here. There we go. I put a dozen of them in here, and I'm going to have just a few little odds and ends here, those little tails, and I'm going to put them in another pan to rise. Just a little round pan. Anyway, I'll bring you back after they've risen, and we'll put them in the oven and bake them. And then I like to put a cream cheese icing on them. Alright, time to rise. Be back again in a little bit. Well, I've come back, and it's been a while, but they've been rising, and I've got my oven preheated to 400, so I'm going to put them in the oven. Probably won't take too long. Let's see. About 15 minutes in the preheated oven. I had these 12 pretty ones, and then there's the two little ends, and then a couple more. But anyway, gotta bake them, and then I'll bring them back, and we'll make the icing to go on them. I'll be back. Well, they're out of the oven, and they're piping hot. See if I can show you. Well, I can't. But since I use this paper, I can pick them up and take them right out. And sometimes, let me move that. And sometimes, and here's my little bowl. I don't want them to stick either. I'm just going to turn them upside down there for a minute. And sometimes when I take them out of the oven, I do like this. I turn them upside down for a little bit. That way the goodies will run back down into them. There's what they look like. Now we're going to make our icing right quick. That pan's hot. Let me get something to set it on. Well, okay. I'm going to do it. I want you to be able to look at it. There. There's my cinnamon rolls. Turn this one back over. Oh, what a mess. What a mess I make sometimes. Now, maybe those won't stick. Because that sugar and butter, when it gets to the bottom and goes to baking, sometimes it just, when it gets cold, then you can't even get them out of the pan. Now we're going to take 1/4 of a cup of butter to the 1/4 of a stick. Got 2 little pieces there. Cream cheese. I'm going to put about 3 or 4 ounces of cream cheese. And it's soft. Really soft. Because I set it out plenty ahead of time. Get about half of that. I like cream cheese. Now, here's my mixer. And powdered sugar. About 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Let's see. Let's start with the half and blend that up. Put another 1/2 cup. Go and put that third 1/2 cup. Now, put just a little about a teaspoon of vanilla. Scoop these over here. Now, they're still hot. What I want to put that on there with. Put some of this cream cheese icing. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I don't know how many I'm going to eat. I sure wish you was here to help me eat them. Put them on there. I could take more trouble with it, but why? Because I'm just going to grab one and eat it here in just a minute. As hot as they still are. And I'm not going to forget about those. They get some too. Even the little odd shaped ones are going to get a little bit. Scrape that down just a little bit, so I'm going to put it all on there. Now, how easy was that to make cinnamon rolls? Didn't take no time at all. And I'll get a corner one, because I kind of like the corner pieces. Let me get a plate. Fork. And they kind of, even those kind of need turned upside down. Look at here. How do you eat your cinnamon rolls? Do you unroll them before you eat them? I unrolled mine first. Sometimes when they get cool, I'll unroll them and eat them that way. Those are absolutely delicious. And I've been kind of busy today, so I'm going to go sit in my recliner and finish eating this and rest a few minutes. May put my foot up for a little bit. Love y'all. Bye.